Okay, Mike Flanagan here with our finalists here. We're finally down to the step ladder here with Nick Pate, Chuck Grote. Nick, you're from Minnesota. You have had a long path here, actually, to try to get here. You guys have battled some weather getting here and then also had to go through kind of a crazy step ladder elimination matches. You're here bowling Chucky now. What are you thinking going into this match?
I just got to keep making great shots and fill frames. That's about it.
You've been using the IQ Tour Fusion. Is that going to be your ball of choice here in this match, too, coming down to 17 and 18 off of 3 and 4?
Yeah, I've had a lot of success since game 2 with it, so keep making good shots with it and get good results.
All right, man. Good luck to you in this match. Chuck Grote, obviously you made a long trip from Utah. You had to get picked up actually in Minnesota. Clay Reese came and picked you up. You've been waiting a long time. Kind of your game plan going into this match?
Just make the best shots I can, and like Nick said, fill frames, and hopefully I get a couple to fall my way.
Your ball of choice going into this match?
I think we're going to go with the uproar.
Uproar. All right, good luck, Chuck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, John, up to you in the booth. These two guys are ready down here.
All right, we are ready to begin. It looks like Chuck Grote is, no, Nick Pate is going to start the match on the left-hand lane, which means he will also finish the match, but on the right-hand lane. As the higher seed, Chuck would have had the choice of starting lanes, and he's chosen to start on the right, finish on the left. He must like the left-hand lane, number 17, better. We will see if we can tell why once this match starts. Here's the first shot. And a strike.
Can't throw it any better than that, John.
No, that was perfect.
Now, John, you've bowled on live streams before. Is there a little added pressure, or does it make you feel any differently at all when you throw a shot?
You try not to be conscious of it. You try to do what you've been doing all day long when the cameras weren't there. And, well, the cameras have been there on some pairs, but you just try to focus on what you're doing, keep doing what you've been doing that's gotten you to that point, and the cameras will tell the story. You don't have to worry about them.
Chucky with a nice shot there with the Rotogrip Uproar in his hand, throwing the Rotogrip equipment, Rotogrip jersey. Storm, a sponsor of this event. See a lot of Storm balls going down the lane. John, you're a member of the Storm Pro Shop staff. Talk a little bit about the products that Storm has today.
Storm is making great stuff. I, until January of this year, had been exclusively throwing Rotogrip stuff, which Chris Schlemmer has done a great job in bringing along. Putting out some fantastic equipment, and Storm has the IQ Tour Fusion, which you see Nick using, which was just released the beginning of February. Same low differential core that's in the IQ Tour Solid that many people liked, not all, but many. And the IQ Tour Pearl, that gold ball that Pete Weber used successfully. 2 different ones, one on each lane of the TOC that he won. Making great stuff. Great stuff. Hard to go wrong with a Storm or a Rotogrip ball in your hand.
So Grote covering a few more boards, looping it a little bit more than Nick is. Nick keeping his line and his angles a little bit tighter.
Should be a little bit characteristic of the balls they're using too. That low differential core is not going to make quite as big or an angular a turn as the Uproar is going to. That was light. Lucky to get the 10-pin out of that.
I've been really impressed with Nick's game, watching him come up through the elimination matches.
Pretty steady, huh? Nothing seems to phase him too much. He does what he needs to do when he needs to do it.
Ironic that he is the 5th seed and actually ends up 5th today against Chuck Grote, the 4 seed. Remember, the winner of this match is going to go on to take on Casey Murphy, former Bowlers Journal champion Casey Murphy.
And a member of our USBC national squad.
That's true. I didn't want to go there, but I'm glad you brought it up, John. He was a nice addition last year. Casey also a very vocal communicator within the Storm staff as well. He likes to let us know how he feels the products are doing and what holes he has in his bag. He's been very helpful with helping us with our line of products. We'll see him in the next match. And then Rob Gottschall is our 2 seed. We'll see a little bit later, and our top seed, Troy Fuller. But for right now, it is Nick Pate up on the left lane, all even through 2 frames.
There's a good strike on the left.
And you can see he
telling
moved
himself to calm down a little bit, huh?
Pace yourself, be steady. When I interviewed him before the match, I could tell he wasn't ready for that. Kingpin Bar and Grill, you see it front and center here behind lanes 17 and 18. Great food and proceeds this week, John. A little tidbit for you. Yes. Proceeds from all the food and beverage sales in there went directly into the prize fund as Chucky throws a strike on the right lane.
Yeah, that was a good indicator of how hospitable this establishment's been, that the food and beverage service in the center has donated a part of their proceeds back to the prize fund. Makes you feel all the more welcome while you're here, and all the more incentive to support the food and beverage service, which was tasty, by the way.
Now, Chuck Grote has a very solid follow-through. Watch it here as he comes in to your screen. Look at this follow-through, John.
Full extension there. Came a little bit high, left at 4-7.
Yeah, remember now, that's easy to do, especially coming off a shot where he came in a little bit light, failed to get the 7 out in the second frame. Chuck's a good spare shooter. I expect him to cover this with no problem.
And he does.
Chuck is from the Salt Lake City area and out in Utah. Has come out to the Fusion for the last 3 events. This event draws folks from all over the United States, Nick being from Minnesota.
Now, interesting here in the first part of this match, Chuck had the option what lane he wanted to start and finish on. He chose to start on the right and finish on the left, and he struck on the opposing lanes. So we'll see if at the end of this match he feels like he made the right choice or not. There's a nice early double for Nick.
Not too flashy, this Nick Pate. Blue shirt, white embroidered name on the back of his shirt.
Got the white belt, though.
Good catch, John.
Got the white belt like the youngsters do these days.
Now remember, this is not our championship pair. As we go through the stepladder, we will be moving 1 pair to the left, and we'll be skipping lanes 13 and 14 as they were taken out of play during Game 1 today. Interesting story to watch develop throughout these matches.
Nick has that little bit of a modern follow-through, too, that kind of comes across to the left.
Reminiscent of Michael Fagan. He's probably the most famous right-to-left follow-through.
That looked pretty solid. Came in light, though.
To me, that looked a little thrown into the lane. It made a thud noise as it went into the lane panel, and we've been told this week that the lane panels are brand new. So through 5 frames, Nick Pate can shoot 280. Chuck Grote, max score 249.
That's a better shot. Ball change, too.
Yeah, we do want to thank everybody for coming in to the chat and being part of everything this weekend with us. We really appreciate the support. Make sure, if you want to watch archive footage of this, make sure you head out to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching on YouTube when we do archive it, make sure you give us a subscribe on the Inside Bowling channel. We sure would appreciate it. You can get an email notification of every time we post a new video. We love our fans, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now,
Nick Pate going for the 4-bagger here. Solid. Out to a pretty commanding lead halfway through this game.
the odds of Nick Pate going through these 4 bowlers and Grote, Murphy, Gottschall, and Fuller, very slim.
He's got a mountain to climb, but he looks like he's unfazed by it. He's chipping away at it, person by person by person, opponent by opponent.
I've never seen him bowl. This is my first look at him, is in this tournament this weekend. Don't know a lot about him, but so far I'm impressed.
He's been impressive, exactly. Another solid strike.
Maybe we've got a Wes Malott in the making here. Ball roll reminds me a little bit of Wes Malott.
A little bit, huh? Wes has that little bit of come over to the left in the release point, too.
We're going to look at Chuck Grote from behind. Look at his footwork.
Pretty classic style there. There's a ball change before that double. I'm not sure what ball it is. Can't tell from here.
Chuck told me that he prefers lane patterns that play left to right. He bowled the 2013 Storm InsideBowling.com Open where players were forced further to the right. And he's going to practice and bowl again this year, but he told me that he prefers this sort of lane pattern.
More comfortable when his angles are open. That's a solid turkey after that ball change.
That was the right ball.
Looks like perhaps an IQ Tour solid, maybe. Or maybe it's a high road. I don't know. Okay, Nick Pate on a 5-bagger. Coming a little bit high, leaves the 4-7. Not too bad of a shot, protecting the pocket.
John, it's been confirmed that the ball Chuck Grote switched to is about 12 years old. It's an old retro roto grip ball. Retro roto.
A retro roto. All right, good spare conversion there. So we've got Nick Pate working at a 230 pace. We've got Chuck Grote working at a 2-teen pace.
And I'm glass half full. I look at max scores. 258, 249, 9-pin match if they were to strike out. Taking extra time, John. Extra time on the shot.
And it pays off. Gets that week 10 to go.
Double fist pump. Chuck Grote is a 6-hour drive away to Minnesota and a 3-hour flight to Salt Lake City, Utah. He and Clay Reese have a flight to catch later this evening. Clay told me Chuck better win if we're going to not make our flight.
And that's
Wow.
a 4-bagger. The retro roto ball.
Yep.
Are we talking the retro roto ball like the back in the yellow dot days that long ago? It's hard to tell from here.
He said it was 12 years old.
12 years old.
Matter
Well,
of fact, asked me if I would be willing to rerun them in the factory. Like I have any pull over that. So if Shane Blakely or Corbett Austin are listening, we have a request in with all the other hundreds of requests that we get for bowling balls. eBay, Chucky Grote, eBay. First shot in the 10th.
well, it's easy to see why he wants more of those because it's doing exactly what he needs it to do.
Now Grote can strike out to force Nick Pate to go up and double in the 10th frame. He's going to have to match what Chucky does.
Yeah, Chuck's got 249 left.
Really impressive game, Chuck Grote. Haven't had a chance to broadcast an event where he's made the finals, but really a pleasure to get him in here in the finals. He deserves it, works hard at his game, is constantly practicing. He's a weekend warrior out in the Great West. Now, big shot here for Grote. Second shot, 10th frame. So put him in the 240s.
Brooklyn, huh?
I thought that crossed over.
Yeah,
Casey
well,
Murphy walking by just gave me the old look like, I don't want to see that if he bowls me.
Brooklyn was timely because now he has forced Nick to throw the first 2 in the 10th, if my math is correct.
Yep, 258, possible max score. He would need a double and 2 pins if Chuck can fill them all up here.
Oh,
Well, he's consistent, back-to-back Brooklands. But certainly let's not take away how great Chuck threw the ball that entire game up until the 11th and the 12th shots. But here we go. Nick Pate, young man, it's time for you to step up here at the Kingpin Bar and Grill at Maple Lanes. Deliver a strike.
One at a time. Can't get the two without the first one.
There's one, John.
Gets the mixer off the wall. That hit has carried well for him since we've started these elimination matches.
Now, will the carry gods bless Nick Pate after Chucky Grote goes Brooklyn, Brooklyn to force him to double? Only time will tell.
Not all things always even out on the same day. Not wishing him any ill will here. All you can do is make the best shot possible. And that one goes light.
We saw him leave this same exact washout earlier today in a prior match. Nick Pate is going to finish 5th today. He's going to take home $1,200, and Chuck Grote is going to escape by the hair of his chin. 249, and he covers it nonetheless. 243, Chuck Grote over Nick Pate. Pretty exciting opening match here, John Brockland. We'll be right
Absolutely.
back with our next match. It'll be Chuck Grote versus Casey Murphy coming up next here on Inside Bowling. All right, here with Casey Murphy and Chuck Grote. Both, we got a Storm staffer, a Rotogrip staffer, the event sponsored by Storm. We'll start with Casey. Casey, you've been sitting for a while. Talk a little bit about kind of your mindset going into this match.
Essentially, I just treat it like I'm starting game one of the day and try to warm up on the practice pair like I'd warm up for a tournament, and then just check my ball reaction based on nothing else I've done in the tournament. I've gotten handcuffed in the past thinking, oh, this is just like some other lane I got a hold of. So.
You obviously bowled really well yesterday. You bowled well today, especially when some of the other leaders were struggling, especially down on the high end. Coming into this match, what do you think it's going to take to beat Chuck, maybe a score, and what equipment are you going to use?
I'm going to use a crossroad and a high road pearl, and I figure if I don't shoot at least 250, 260, then maybe sweating it.
Well, good luck to you, Casey, in this match.
Thanks.
Chuck, you just got done beating Nick Pate. You threw a couple of Brooklyns at the end of the game. What happened there?
I just didn't throw good shots. I just need to stay slow with my feet and make sure I throw good. I got lucky there, which is part of the game, but we need to throw better shots this game.
We talked about it during the last match. You made a critical ball change and pretty much went sheet with that ball. Is it going to be that ball again in this match?
Yeah, I'm going to start with that and hope for the same success that we found on that last pair.
And do you think you can take it to Mr. Murphy here and come out on top to face Rob Gottschall or 2-seed?
I'll do the best I can.
All right, good luck to you, Chuck.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, John, here we go. They're ready to go down here. It's going to be an exciting match. I predict 247 be the winning score here.
All righty. I went down and asked Chuck, too, about that Retro Roto ball. I was not aware of the fact that Retro Roto was actually the precise name of the ball. 12 years ago, there was a solid and a pearl, and this is the pearl.
Chucky's going to start on the left lane. Get us going.
Safely in the 1-3. A little bit of a weak 10 there.
We do have some open play moving in, so you do hear some kids from afar.
Yeah, they're doing a little bumper bowling down there on the end of the bowling center. But we're focused on this match. Oh, and a missed 10-pin in the first frame. There's an early opening for Casey to jump on if he's able.
And it didn't miss it by much.
No, just a pinch.
Going left to right, using the plastic ball to throw at his spares. Very easy on a slick synthetic surface that's flatter to go right by it. Now here's a first look at Casey Murphy.
Casey's got a little bit of an unorthodox backswing, but man, he can get the job done. And he repeats it time and time and time and time again. There's an early strike.
Casey is a gamer. He definitely when it comes to stepladder matches is someone very familiar with bowling in the stepladders and has a really good record over time.
Sure, there's a lot of bowling in the southern Missouri area, also around the St. Louis region.
He said Crossroad and High Road Pearl.
Given the angle of attack, I'm thinking that this is the Crossroad. It's going a little wider, covering a little bit more territory. I think with that High Road Pearl, his angles are a little bit tighter. Okay. Not the most convincing spare in the world, but it got it. Chuck up here in the second.
Important for him to put his striking shoes on. Starts right here.
There we go. That's
gotten
what
to
you
know-
want to do to bounce back after an open frame.
I've gotten to know Chuck a little bit moving to Utah. Everybody knows him out there as the guy that comes in and is the favorite to win the tournament in the Salt Lake area. He, Clay Reese. And every once in a while when Steve Klumpkin gets out too, he's also a factor.
Well, from what Chuck is doing today, his game is certainly solid enough that there's no surprise in what you're saying. Another weak 10 on that left lane. This one undoubtedly will get picked. Yep. Little triumph sign.
Chuck, just a member of the Rotogrip amateur staff. We'll talk about the difference between an amateur staff and a regional staff and pro shop staffs here in just a little bit. Now, back to Murphy, right lane.
Struck on this lane the first time. It was a light mixer. See if he stays that way or if he tries to get a little bit more flush. That one was about as flush as you can get and almost stoned to 7-pin. As unorthodox as Casey's backswing is, that little cupped wrist position and what he does with it in the release of the ball helps him create a lot of angle down lane.
He repeats it extremely well.
He does. Over the weekend, he was nearby a lot of the way, and he was creating more angle down lane than just about anybody I saw. There's a double.
So we talked about Chuck Grote being a member of the Rotogrip amateur staff.
Amateur staff.
Amateur staffers are allowed to throw that brand and that brand only, with the exception of a spare ball. So Chuck just throws Rotogrip, and he's a loyalist and has had a lot of success with the Rotogrip brand.
And with what Chris Schlemmer's doing with that brand these days, at the helm of it, there's really not a reason to feel limited by that. Rotogrip's making some great stuff. It's a pretty complete arsenal at this point, top to bottom. Especially with the addition of the Uproar and the Hypercell on both ends of the spectrum. Chuck says this retro roto is his favorite go-to ball when the lanes get burned. So there's an adjustment off of 2 weak 10s before this frame. Now a little high and leaving a 4-pin. So he's making the moves you would expect a person to make who knows what he's doing. Just needs to fine-tune it a little more.
He's going to have to figure out the left lane. And now Casey Murphy, his last couple of shots. High flush, high flush. We almost saw the 7-pin stand up. And, you know, he really, with the angle that he has right now, has potential for a 7-9.
Yeah, absolutely. Or anything with a 9-pin, a 4-9.
So hopefully he makes a slight adjustment, which I think he will, and hit a little more half pocket, but run over the rack
That
again.
was just about as high flush as the last one.
Casey prefers bowling balls with 2.5 to 3 inch pins or even shorter, which are not very easy to find these days. 99.9% of the average bowlers prefer a longer pin.
And his theory on that preference, I know he uses a lot of pin down drillings. That could be a part of the reason.
That's most of it.
Okay. There's a nice 4-bagger there.
Ham bone, John. Ham bone. Strike spare, ham bone. Casey Murphy.
I can't get used to the modern vocabulary, Mike.
Well, Chucky Grote is really almost in a must-double situation here. He was trailing in the last match, came back to win. See if he can do it again here.
And he gets the 10 out there. Oh, the left lane's been his nemesis so far. Let's see what he can do. Hasn't missed the right lane at all. Weak 10, 4-pin. What will it be this time? Unlike the last time when he had his choice of starting lanes, it was up to Casey this time. And that adjustment left a 2-pin.
Ball came in light. Did it look like you thought he missed it left, or what do you think looked odd about that shot?
It might have been further left in the front part of the lane. And if that ball is a ball that he uses on burn a lot, it probably is a little more sensitive to oil. So if he goes a little bit further into what's left of the pattern there in the middle of the lane, it might have created more push than he thought.
Casey's got an
And
incredible
yes,
lookout
he
on the
does.
lanes right now.
Yes, he does.
But remember, they do move pairs, and coming up in the next match, he's got a newer member of Team USA, Rob Gottschall, our 2 seed, will be up in the next match. Rob Gottschall with some different life choices here recently. We'll talk about that in the next match.
So Casey can max out at 280 here. Chuck has 219 left. So if Chuck's going to have a happy finish to this match, he's going to need some help. And he's not getting any. That was almost the 7-9 you talked about, though.
Almost.
There was a little glimmer of both of them there. And so far, these step ladders have resulted in exactly the way the guys have finished going into them. They're ending up exactly where they qualified. Which some would say is as it should be.
Well, Chuck here is going to finish in 4th position. But nothing to be ashamed of here this week.
Absolutely not.
It'll get he and Clay Reese to the plane a little bit sooner.
Back to the uproar here. Going a little bit deeper. Looks like he's stuck. And a carried for a double. Ran that one out.
Yeah, he's a couple pairs away. There he is.
And a high 5 from Casey.
Storm Nation, a lot of times when two guys that are part of the family in Utah, Storm and Rotogrip, when they get together and bowl a match, friendly but competitive.
All right.
So if you're Rob Gottschall and you're watching this match, what's going through your mind, John?
What's going through your mind is you're going to go and make the best shots you can make for the entirety of the next game, and you're going to hope that Casey Murphy does not have the look on the next pair that he just had on this pair.
Comes in light for 2-8.
He might be doing a little testing now.
It looked a little firm.
Either that or he missed it a little bit at the bottom. He was just giving himself a little rehearsal arm swing there.
Speed control is so important when you're hooping the lane.
The pattern was speed sensitive front to back, I thought, all weekend long. I know my last game today, when I moved in, not quite as far as he is, but when I moved into almost 20, I had to get very, very soft. A little bit of extra speed was an automatic 2-pin or worse.
So the players just fast-tracking along now. Casey Murphy defeats Chuck Grote. Rob Gottschall coming up in the semifinal match. And in our championship match, it'll be Troy Fuller, our tournament leader, for 13 games, finished at plus 452. Chuck Grote, for finishing in 4th position, receives $1,400. I apologize. $1,400 for his efforts on a $150 entry fee. Fusion Realtors Open.
Not a bad weekend.
$192, it looks like. That's what my math says. $192 for Chucky Grote. Casey Murphy, $258. When we come back, it'll be Gottschall versus Murphy here from the Fusion. We'll be right back. All right, here with Rob Gottschall, our 2 seed, and Casey Murphy, the 3 seed, who just defeated Chuck Grote, and he was striking like crazy. Casey, we'll start with you. Talk a little bit about that last match. Big score, good ball reaction, more of the same this match?
Yeah, I hope. I'm going to start with the same ball, and I have a pretty good look. This pair seems to be a little bit slicker than the pair I got off of, so I don't think there's a ball switch needed. But if I start ringing corners, leaving 4 pins, then I think my high road pearl is the ball to go to.
Now this guy over here, Rob Gottschall, he's been going through a lot of life changes. He's made Team USA one of the hottest bowlers in the planet. Any intimidation today bowling against Rob?
A lot more. There would be a lot more if he was throwing Storm still.
Good answer. Good luck to you, Casey, in this next match.
Thanks.
Now, Rob, controversial Rob over here. You've been on these live streams a lot before. You dominated the tournament yesterday, and today just bowled so-so. You've been sitting for a while. You've watched this guy totally light it up. What's your mindset going into this?
Same thing I do every time, Mike. I'm going to try to make 10 good shots and, put myself in position to win.
And your ball choice today, what will we see during this match? Ball progression, or what are you thinking?
I'm going all in with the ball I had to drill here at Fran's Pro Shop. I'm going in with a track 505C squared.
Okay, man. Good luck to you.
Thanks, buddy.
Rob Gottschall, Casey Murphy, we're ready to go down here. It's going to be a good match. John, who do you think is going to take this one?
It's hard to bet against Team USA. On the other hand, Casey's got the momentum going in his direction. One of the things I find interesting, because I didn't watch Rob bowl at all today, bowling myself, but during practice, Rob was taking a test at the look from the outside part of the lane, and my wonderment was how he was going to attack this pair, but clearly now he's moved back to the middle, so we're going to have both of them attacking the pair the same way. Oops.
Whoa. Did you
It was
see
either-
that?
It was either a stick or a slip there. No harm, no foul, nonetheless. He had a 10-pin left. A little precarious start there. That'll put you on edge.
Most certainly. Fortunate to not foul in that situation.
Now, I tell you what, I would be going back up and testing something at that foul line before I threw at this 10-pin if I were he, but he's the more experienced player than I, certainly.
No problem there.
No problem there.
So Gottschall, very interesting start for Rob.
All right, Casey mentioned that this pair seems a little bit tighter. His practice shots would have indicated that. Most of them were light, but we'll see what happens. Flush.
Now Casey alluded
He's throwing it good.
to the last pair being a little bit drier and this pair being a little bit tighter, and he said no ball change. He sees this pair possibly coming to him more. Is that what he meant by that, John?
It could either mean that, or he might mean that with the ball that he has, if they're a little bit tighter, he might be able to do something with ball speed or something with his feet and his target that would make sufficient difference without having to do something drastic enough as changing balls would be. But he did say if he starts leaving corner pins, then this ball's going away. And there was a little bit of a glimmer of the 10 pin in the first shot, and there's a flat 10 that shot. So you never know, a ball change might be happening soon. Because it looked like he liked the way he threw that.
This 2014 version of the Fusion Realtor Tournament, Joe Engelkiss and his crew have been running these events for a few years now. Casey converts to spare, but just a tremendous organization to be a part of, an event that sells out over and over again. They run 2 of these a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. This one at Maple, always spring, on the weekend of the USBC Masters and the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Now Rob Gottschall up second frame.
And a 2 pin.
Comes in a little light. Rob Gottschall, recently, over the last couple of years, his resume cannot be matched by any other amateur bowler on the planet. A 300 game at the Bowler's Journal, crossing pairs. Back-to-back Boot Hill wins. The win at the Southern Shootout, Eric Ramos' tournament down in Florida. And now most recently, a member of Team USA 2014.
He's just bowling phenomenal no matter where he is.
Rob's from Lincoln, Nebraska, and just recently was presented with a new opportunity to go to work for Ebonite International. Rob has got a contract on his house and is going to be relocating to Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Also an assistant coach and helping out and giving back to the great game that's given him so much down at Vanderbilt University with his good friend Josie Ernest.
Certainly he's got a lot of expertise to share with the kids down there. That's a great, great shot.
Now back to Murphy. Murphy recently won the Bowler's Journal 2 years ago. Been a member of Storm staff for a few years now. Understands the characteristics of the bowling balls better than most. What happened there, John?
Looked like he got a little firm with that one, I think. Said this pair was a little bit tighter. That looked a little bit firmer in terms of ball speed, and it just never turned the corner, did it?
We never heard out of his mouth pre-match about balling up at all. He thought the lanes would come to him with these pieces of equipment. Important not to always blame the equipment. It was just a bad shot, and I think Casey thought that was a bad shot. So it's not a shootout at the OK Corral here by any means. But a close match. Important for Casey to establish to his opponent that he can hit the 1-3 pocket consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs to make a good shot right here.
The last thing you want is Rob Gottschall licking his chops. But Rob bowls himself. He does not bowl his opponent.
Let's see where this ball gets to down lane. That one was a little bit wide, a little bit early, and went went high through the face. The reason why I asked where that ball was going to get to down lane was it looked like, to me, his angles were tighter on 12, that shot that left the 2-8-10, certainly than it had been on the pair before. It's like he was a little bit more open through the heads on 13 and 14.
Casey has got
here, so
an extremely squirrely ball reaction right now.
good spare there.
Kochel also a member of the Turbo staff, Turbo Grips. Lori Mraz and her entire team at Turbo does a fantastic job and has been sponsor of our event on Friday night at the Ace Mitchell team shootout at the Proprietors Cup weekend. We'll be back doing that again this year in July. Billy Isolt's Proprietors Cup. Kochel in the fourth, comes up light, John. Both players coming up light on that lane.
Both of them on the right lane, you're right. You know, one of the things that's always struck me about Rob Gottschall since...
Nice pun, by the way.
Thanks. Not intended. Since the first time I saw him bowl and then watched him a little bit more close up, bowling a couple of matches against them at the Holiday Doubles. He's one of those people, to me, whose hand looks like it was just meant to have a bowling ball in it. There are some people like that. I don't know if you get that impression of some people or not, but his hand just looks like it was meant to have a bowling ball in it.
Certainly does. Last year, too, if you want to go out to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, look for updated videos, and get the latest and greatest from InsideBowling.com. But we also sat at the table just to the left of our booth last year, and Rob Gottschall actually read my palm. He read my palm right here at this table, right next door.
I didn't know that was one of his skills.
He didn't know that it was either until I put him on the spot. Now Gottschall up in the fifth.
Oh. Yikes.
So we're seeing similar ball reactions out of both players.
Yeah.
The left lane, they're going high. The right lane, they're going light. Casey Murphy just sprung up out of his chair.
He did. That was an unexpected gift, perhaps.
See Murphy pacing around behind, just chomping at the bit to go up and make a shot. Gave it a run, almost bounced it out. So 85 in the fifth for Gottschall.
Okay, what's the move off of the 2-8-10, do you think? Softer?
Softer and get around it. Our statistician this week, Brian Burkhardt, I believe it was a 7-2 in the fifth.
There's a good shot.
Great shot there. Good looking shot by
and
Casey.
I think he did exactly what you said, huh? A little bit softer ball speed.
So now Casey here has an opportunity to extend his lead in the match in the sixth frame. He got that ball
Good
to tip.
shot
Good
there,
shot.
yeah.
So now Rob Gottschall's going to have to step up, and he's going to have to find a way to hit the 1-3 consistently on both of these lanes. Rob is no stranger to a situation like this. Going to take a little extra time. Got to get his ball right.
Issue going on with some tape there.
What a great double by Casey Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
After going light in the right lane, high on the left lane. His opponent doing exactly the same, comes back and throws a double. Now let's see if Rob Gottschall can make an adjustment and do the same exact thing. I would give Gottschall a slight nod in experience and talent at this point in time.
Looked a little bit weak to begin with, but there was no question once it started to go through the pins. Leaned on that 10 pretty strong.
Big shot in the match here for Gottschall. Left lane. Looking for his first double in the match. Can he answer Murphy?
A little bit wider, and not the response he was looking for down lane at all.
Comes in light on the more hooking of the two lanes. Maybe an over adjustment, you think, John?
Well, he certainly gave it more room, sent it further right down lane, and that ball just didn't check back. The last one sparked, went through the face, and that one just kept going.
Well, really, Casey Murphy is in the driver's seat now. Don't forget, the winner of this match will go on to face Troy Fuller, our tournament leader, at plus 452. Troy, through 13 games this week, plus 452. Pretty incredible execution of shots this week. Great performance by Troy coming up in the next match. Now, Murphy looking for 3 in a row and a commanding lead in the semifinal match.
Good pitch there.
To me, it looked like all of the pins jumped up off the pin deck about 2 inches and just walked backwards.
Almost in unison.
Reminiscent of a strike possibly on Nintendo. There were a lot of Nintendo strikes like that. Sure, Casey wasn't thinking that whatsoever.
I don't think he's thinking about Nintendo right now at all.
He's the man in black today. Khaki pants, traditional belt, black shirt, purple ball. Sends the messenger in front of the 10, but still good shot. 4 great shots in a row now by Casey after having some adversity there in the third and the fourth. He's a great spare shooter. I anticipate he'll spare this up. Switching to a plastic ball.
So Casey is on pace for 2-0. Rob Gottschall's on pace for 170. Rob's got 203 possible.
Yeah, Rob has to go up and throw strikes in the 8th and the 9th and hope that Casey Murphy makes a mistake in the 9th or the 10th. We have seen both players open in this match. So
yeah, it doesn't take much of a little bit of a miss to result in a pretty bad shot on this pair. Interestingly, Rob looked like he made a big move back to the outside there.
fortunate not to leave the 7-10, but unfortunate to leave the 7 on a pretty decent shot by Rob.
I wonder if he's second-guessing his game plan at this point, having tried both in and out during practice.
Well, yeah, I think you have to at this point with only a 193 max score left. So Gottschall's still not mathematically eliminated if he can throw a strike in the 9th. And if some way, somehow, Casey Murphy were to throw back-to-back opens or bad count spares, Rob Gottschall could still win this match. So really important for Rob to bear down, make a good shot here in the 9th, take a seat on the bench, and wait and see what happens.
Oh, good shot there. It made sense to me watching him try both that he opted for the inside part of the lane to start with, because as the day went on, that outside part of the lane across the house just was not friendly.
Murphy's got to fill frames.
There's a strike there.
That's about going to wrap this match up.
Just about so. Let's see. Rob Gottschall's got 193 left. Yeah, Casey's got to have, well, a mark would lock it up for sure, but he's got to have some pretty good count.
Yeah, 9.
And open here would be.
I think he's got to fill 9 on 2 balls.
And open here would not be good. That does it.
That's the best way to do it. Throw a strike, Casey Murphy. Rob Gottschall's going to finish 3rd today. He's going to take home $1,700 for his effort. Another solid week, another solid performance by Rob Gottschall in a tournament with national notoriety and recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Finished fourth at the StormInsideBowling.com Open this year. And he told me that that was one of his most memorable moments, despite not winning the tournament. Really prepared him emotionally and got him ready for any sort of TV experience in the future. Randy Peterson on the call told me that was really, really special to him. And don't forget, coming up here at the end of April, this year's version of the StormInsideBowling.com Open in St. Louis, the last weekend in April. You don't want to miss that one. Both of these competitors bowled last year and both plan on bowling again this year.
Absolutely. Mark your calendars, everybody.
Nice comeback here in this match by Casey. .225, Casey Murphy. Rob Gottschall, 173. Murphy over Gottschall here in the semifinal match. When we come back, it's going to be our championship match. Troy Fuller is going to take on Casey Murphy in our final. We'll be right back here from Waterloo, Iowa at Maple Lanes. All right, here for our championship match. Mike Flanagan here with Casey Murphy. Casey, the last match, obviously early struggles, but you came back nicely. Talk a little bit about what happened.
Well, I actually had the lanes playing the same at first, and I think Rob had them pretty much the same way, but after the first few frames, they really busted up, and the left lane started hooking way more, and I ended up deciding to go to my high road pearl and move inside of that spot. That ball's a little stronger drill, but a little longer and smoother, and that seemed to work out really well.
Casey, coming up here in the championship match, you got to bowl Troy. He's been sitting for a while. You think you have an advantage going in, being bowling?
It's always nice to not have to come in cold, but Troy's been able to warm up for a couple games, so I think he'll be pretty tough.
You've been bowling these tournaments. What would it mean to you to win today, this Fusion Realtors 2014 version?
I don't think I've ever won one of your live stream events, so I'd really like to do that because I've been there since the get-go, and so it would be really fun to win a Mike Flanagan live streamed event.
All right, buddy. Good luck to you. Troy, you've been sitting for a while. You're from Iowa yourself, and coming up in this championship match, you've been sitting for a long time. You've been watching these guys bowl. What do you think it's going to take for you to be able to win this match?
Just making some good shots, move when I need to move, and hopefully cover all the spares. And that's.
You've had some fans up there in the chat, been rooting you on at home. You want to say hello to anybody?
I don't know who's, but hello to my friends and wish me luck.
Absolutely. Score you think it might take to win this match against Casey?
Probably 200, 2+.
Okay, 200 game. Good luck to you, man. That's our finalist down here, guys. Troy, he's ready to go. Casey versus Troy. Got to say, I think Casey's got an advantage coming into this match with a little more time on the lanes. Troy, never been on a live stream before. I think
I'm agreeing with you, Mike.
a little bit of nerves, but you know what?
Troy looks a little bit nervous, and his practice balls were not altogether convincing.
Troy's going to start the match. Left lane. Important to make a good first shot here, John.
Last couple of practice shots on this lane were weak 10s, so let's see what happens here. No question about that one.
That is a great opening shot, and he's got some local.
He does have
local support.
Local support here. He's wearing Fran's Pro Shop shirt, which is the Pro Shop here in the bowling center.
So Casey Murphy may be the villain here today. Casey wants to win this one, he said.
Got by with that a little bit. I don't think that was quite as strong a release at the bottom. But a makeable spare.
Murphy now on the spare. Hooks it at it. Not a problem at all. Murphy up on the left lane.
That was a better release.
Good shot for Casey. This just in from tournament director Joe Engelkiss. He says that the special pot they have here at these tournaments, it's called the Bet You Win pot. You have to enter in an optional side pot to be eligible for this, and neither one of these players entered into that pot. So it will carry over. $840 carries over to the next event.
That's pretty interesting because it was only $10. You'd think entering the tournament you would just do that.
Times are hard right now, John.
Well,
times are hard.
I guess so. Great shot.
Fuller opens with the double. As you can see, now the front desk is in our viewing area. St. Patrick's Day coming up just around the corner. St. Patrick's Day decorations.
Green ribbons, yeah.
Troy Fuller, I've been told, is tough as nails. Tough as nails. Well, so far, he's perfect through 2. Looking for an opening triple.
A little bit wider there.
Well, you and I were completely wrong. We thought after the interview with Troy and his ball reaction in practice
Yeah,
that Casey Murphy was the definite favorite going into this match, but so far Troy Fuller opens up with a triple, John, a triple.
Troy may have been lulling us into a false sense of confidence, or maybe he was trying to put that one on Casey.
Well, Casey's got an opportunity now to go up and throw a big double here. Show us a great championship match.
That was better.
Murphy's got a great style. It is a little different, but it is a great style.
It's effective, no doubt about it. And he does it over and over and over again exactly the same way, which is, of course, what you want.
Casey's from the Springfield area. Good friends with Sean Swanson, who's been dealing with a fight with cancer, sarcoma cancer, raising money, and Casey a big part of supporting that cause. I'm sure he'd want to give a shout out to Sean back home watching.
Absolutely, we all do. Sean's got some scans coming up. Good shot there. Sean's got some scans coming up, and we hope that they're clear. And that his health is in good shape.
Well, John, we got ourselves a match. Opening triple for Fuller. Spare triple for Murphy. Max score 300. Max score 290. Quarter of the way through the match.
Everything you'd want for a title match. Taking a little more time here.
All right, comes up high. Would you rather throw at the 3-6-10, John, or the baby split? The 3-10.
I don't like either one of them.
Now, on a flat oil pattern, would you go left to right and try to hit the 3-pin to the right side, or would you throw a strike ball and try to hit the 3-pin to the left side of the 3-pin?
No, I'd take a spare ball and try to do what he almost did.
Interesting enough, he threw his strike ball at that.
Flattened it out. Maybe that's the way he throws at all of his spares. I don't know.
So an opening now for Murphy, important for Troy Fuller. To collect his thoughts, go back up, make a good shot on the left lane.
Yeah, that last shot was a little bit right and a little bit early. So let's see what happens here. The tendency would be to tug it, maybe. Or at least not to give it the room that it needs. That was a good shot, though. That was a well-thrown shot.
Casey Murphy gives him some appreciation for that shot. Great sportsmanship at these events, which just totally goes with the theme of how nice everyone here is at Maple Lanes, Fran's Pro Shop, the Kingpin sports bar here inside Maple Lanes. Done a tremendous job. Shout out to Zach Bajorner from Fusion Realtors for putting on this event as well.
Good shot there. Ooh. Didn't quite corner like I expected it to. Back to that 310, we're told that Troy does not use a spare ball. Okay. So we have about a 10-pin match here. A little bit more than 10, 13.
Halfway through the match, great opportunity to tell everyone at home about ways to contact InsideBowling.com in these broadcasts. You can follow us on Twitter, Inside Bowling. You can also go out on Facebook and give us a like, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Got a little more hand in that one. Yep. Little more hand at the bottom in that one. All right, well, that gives Troy an opening here.
Not what Casey Murphy wanted to do in the sixth frame.
No, not at all. So with a double here, Troy's going to take a lead. On pace, he took a 3-pin lead just sitting on the bench because of the count of that shot from Casey Murphy. But let's see what happens here. Went high on this lane the last time. That looked like it was well thrown. Big double. Big double.
You think they liked it here, John?
He's got the hometown crowd on his side, no doubt about it. And they are vociferous.
Got a rowdy crowd just next to our booth back here. As you look at your screen off to the right, Shannon Buchan and some other folks here sticking around. No shot clock violations here at Inside Bowling. Kirk Von Kruger, if you're watching, this is probably driving you crazy.
He's taking his time. Is that going to hold? Oh. Looks like he cut that one a little bit short.
Well, John,
But
this guy, he's led the tournament for a reason. He's no slouch.
How many pins did he make up today? How far behind the lead was he going in? We don't know. Rob Gottschall was leading at 360 over. Casey Murphy, a strike. 7-10, late going down.
Fuller, after 7 games, came in today in 11th position at plus 225.
225, so he went 227 over for 6 games today. No, 127 over for 6 games. No, 227. It's late in the day. 227 over for 6. That's not too darn bad.
Casey needs one here.
Good pitch.
Fist pump. A little applause by Fuller even. So max score for Murphy, 243. Fuller still can bowl 266. Murphy applying the pressure with a strike in the 7th and the 8th. We will see if Troy Fuller can step up here in the 8th frame and get the ham bone or the 4-bagger, whichever you prefer. Here in the title match, the 2014 Fusion Realtors Open, presented by Storm, Inside Bowling, Rydell Chevrolet, P&K Midwest, the John Deere distributor here, Kingpin Bar and Grill here at Maple Lanes, Budweiser, Bud Light, The Isle, and Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau.
That was well thrown. Great shot.
Big shot there by Troy Fuller. He's got command in the match. 9th frame. Still, we have not seen a re-rack in today's competition. This might be a good spot for one.
I think Troy's just going to take his time without it.
An invisible re-rack he takes. See Joe's daughter Jennifer with her green iPhone in the background, getting pictures for the website. Big shot here in the match. 9th frame, Troy Fuller, hometown hero. If he strikes here, John, it's going to get loud.
Bring on the noise. Bring on the noise. That was a great shot.
Only one chink in the armor in this man's game thus far, and that was in the 4th frame. He's composed himself and come back with the Yahtzee. Important for Casey Murphy to go up and get all that he can. Still has 243 left.
Good shot.
All right. There's a triple for Murphy in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So let's set it up here, John. If Casey Murphy can strike out,
It's 243.
Troy Fuller goes 7 spare strike, we'd have a tie. 8 spare strike, or anything more than that, Troy Fuller would be your champion. Casey must strike.
Good one there.
It's the first strike.
Going to make him work for it as much as he can.
What a great championship match we've had here at Maple Lanes. The city of Waterloo rallies behind this event. We come into town, they feel like ESPN has just arrived. Great group of folks here. It's been a pleasure bringing you the coverage in this tournament. And now Casey Murphy, second shot, 10th frame. Needs them all.
It's a good one. Great pitch.
Well, my mom always told me that if you got a nosebleed, you should apply pressure. And that is exactly what Casey Murphy is doing right now. Pinching the nose a bit, stopping the blood. Will it be enough? Count here is extremely important.
All right, that's a good shot, too. Did everything he could possibly do.
Very nice finish for Casey Murphy. Finishes with 243. Now, all he can do is sit and wait.
Troy has the tournament in his own hands.
Troy Fuller. He's been coined as tough as nails. reminiscent of Rocky Balboa, tough as nails. This is a big shot coming up. Remember, 8 spare strike. He's a winner.
That was well thrown. Looked good off his hand. Might have got a little more of it than he wanted.
John, we have
need
the
a spare and a
possibility
strike for a tie.
of a tie. Spare strike. We have a tie. We will go to extras. Must convert the 3-6-10.
Yeah.
He's got it. I was just told from tournament director Joe Engelkist that if there is a tie, we will go to a 9th and 10th frame roll-off right here. Will we have extended play? It's been the theme of the weekend, extended play. No reason to think otherwise. Casey Murphy did exactly what he needed to do. He threw the
Absolutely.
last 6 strikes to force a situation like this. He applied the pressure. Troy Fuller needs them all. Otherwise, Casey Murphy will be our 2014 champion.
How does that look?
We've got extras, John.
Extra.
Extra innings. 243 to 243. 10 frames is not enough to decide this match. Tournament director Joe Engelkist is making his way down now to instruct the players what we do in the case of a tie. It doesn't get any better than this, John.
So they throw the first shot on the alternate lane from the one they finished on, I believe,
Which means
as if the game were just continuing.
Casey Murphy is going to start the match of this 9th and 10th frame roll-off
Actually, they're throwing the first shot on the lane they finished on.
the left lane.
Well thrown. Yep.
So there's a strike for Murphy.
You have it at the bottom of your screen there. Brian, our statistician, is on top of things.
We might just keep tying over and over again. Murphy on the board with a strike. Troy Fuller looking to answer. Right lane. Extended play.
That was a little bit left of target, and it held. It held. That was
All even through a frame.
That was about 2 left of the fill ball in the 10th frame. But it held.
This championship pair, lanes 9 and 10. It's playing very fair to both players. We've seen players confused on other pairs. This is a great championship pair here at Maple Lanes. We've been right in front of it the entire weekend, right here in front of the booth. And now here is Fuller, first shot in the 10th on the 9th and 10th frame roll-off championship match. Sets the pace right here.
That was a little wide off his hand, and he carried a trip to 2-pin.
Trip 2-pin. Trip 2-pin. Wow. Unbelievable. Trips the 2-pin forward to apply pressure to Murphy.
Who sits calmly watching. Nothing you can do.
He applauded the break.
I didn't see that.
Karma.
Well, good for him.
Firm believer
Good
in
for him.
karma. So, collecting his thoughts, taking his time, looking for 3 in a row. 4 shots now in his 9th and 10th frames.
That's wide.
Okay. He did not like that one at all.
It's a little bit out of time there, it looked like. It's the 1-2-8.
So really what this boils down to, it is important for him to convert this spare. But what it really boils down to is whether or not Casey Murphy can go up on the first ball in the 10th frame
and strike.
And deliver a strike.
And then he's in the same position that Troy was. He's got to get 8 spare.
Correct. If he were to get 7 spare,
sometimes doesn't happen.
We would have another tie. Shot of the match right here for Murphy.
Thrown.
All right, there's 10 for Murphy.
That was well thrown. A little bit firm.
8 spare or better, and Casey Murphy wins. Fuller finishes with 47. Casey Murphy needs 48 or more to take home the title.
Good shot at the bottom. Oh, 9.
That's a winner for Casey Murphy. He is your 2014 Fusion Realtors Open at Maple Lane's champion. It took extra innings to do it. A great performance by Troy Fuller this week. The hometown contingent rooting him on. Just a great guy. He'll be back in more finals. I know he will. Congratulations to Casey Murphy bringing home the title here today. John, just an absolutely tremendous final match between these two players.
Absolutely awesome. Well bowled by both.
When we come back, we'll have interviews and a check presentation here in just a moment, live here from the Fusion. We'll be right back. 2014 Fusion Realtors Open here with champion Casey Murphy and with tournament director Joe Engelkist. Joe, you've got a nice check here for Casey. You have a few words for him?
Yeah, I just want to tell Casey great bowling all weekend. It was quite a performance there with the tight finals. That was a lot of fun to watch. I know I was more nervous probably than you guys were throwing the ball. So, yeah, congratulations anyway. Appreciate you coming down here from Springfield. There's a winner's check, $3,000.
Okay, Joe, nice tournament, buddy. Really appreciate you letting us come out and do it.
Oh, yeah. No problem. I always enjoy having Mike and the group come up and do our live stream here. It makes this tournament a little bit more special.
Well, we appreciate coming. Now, Casey Murphy, it took extra innings today, bud. You had to defeat Chuck Grote and then Rob Gottschall and then Troy Fuller here, the hometown hero. How sweet is it to win this tournament?
It's pretty nice. This is the first live stream thing I've won, I think, maybe ever, and I really love it. And Troy bowled great. I really thought I was in trouble. I had lane 10 extremely squirrely, and it just wasn't that great for me. So really to come back and make him tie me and to win, that's just, I can't ask for more. This is everything I would hope for.
Now, Casey, obviously in the last couple of years you've had some success. You've got some people to thank, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know where the list starts, but Roger Weimer, who's, the late Roger Weimer, and Steve Weimer, who Gosh, I think I've spent so much money in free practice. You know, they have given me so much free practice, and I appreciate them and continue to. And then probably Storm Bowling Products. I mean, they put the best equipment in my hands, and I recently was allowed to throw Rotogrip and Storm, and that gives me an advantage over just about anybody else on the field. And my wife, I'd like to thank her, and then, of course, Sean Swanson, who is, you know, battling cancer, and he can bowl when he can, and just love Sean, and he's really taken me to the next level with his coaching and mentorship.
Casey, obviously you've been on board with what we've been doing at Inside Bowling for ever since the very beginning. You called me during dinner on the very first broadcast that we did and told me that you just got it. And to see you be able to come out as champion today, and you said it meant a lot to win one on here. We appreciate you being a champion today, and glad you made the trip out. One final question for you. The hometown contingent here was rooting for Troy, obviously with the Franz Pro Shop on his chest. Did you feel like the villain today coming in town?
I wouldn't say the villain, because everybody's been super nice, and even Troy is just a heck of a guy. He's just so nice. I mean, they were really rooting for Troy, and I didn't take it personally, and I was rooting for Troy myself. You know, you just always be a good sportsman and clap for everybody, and you know, the minute you start rooting against people and acting like a villain, the minute karma jumps up and bites you in the butt. So I always try to root for my opponent and wish them luck and just bowl the well as I can. There's no defense in bowling.
Well, congratulations, Casey, on a great victory. Have a safe trip back home to Nixa, Missouri, I believe it is.
Actually, I moved to Springfield with my wife. She made me move, so it's the same thing. It's a suburb, so.
Okay, Casey, congratulations again.
Thanks.
All right, that's it from down here on the lanes. Back up to the booth. John and I will wrap things up. Again, what a great performance by Casey Murphy. John, thanks for sitting in the booth with me, man.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
It was a good time.
First time I had the opportunity to do this, it was enjoyable. And
What
what
a
a great match to watch.
Oh, unbelievable. Going to be one of my favorites to archive of all time. Just a great match by Casey and Troy. Great stepladder. Just a fun event. Your takeaways from this event, John?
It was well run. It's certainly one that I would come back to if I can manage to put it on the calendar. Weekends are not the easiest thing for me, but this was great. It was a challenging pattern. I know that Joe was not as thrilled about the scoring pace as he would have been if it was a little bit lower. He said that yesterday, right when we started out the first squad. But, you know, you put down a pattern that you think is going to work. Sometimes it does the way you want it to. Sometimes it doesn't. But it proved to provide a great test in terms of competition, and that's really what you want at the end of the day.
Yep,
So it was very good.
And my big takeaway from this weekend is the amount of sponsors and the group effort that goes into putting on this event.
And what Joe does to get that to happen.
Fusion Realtors, Storm Bowling Products, us here at Inside Bowling, Rydell Chevrolet, the P&K Midwest John Deere distributor, Kingpin Bar and Grill here at Maple Lanes. We've had lunch, dinner, everything here. Great food. Budweiser, Bud Light also on board with this event. The Isle Casino Hotel. What a great hotel stay we had there. And the Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau. Zach Bajorner, you and your team that have invested into this bowling center and helped bring this tournament on with Fusion Realty. Kudos to you, certainly, sir, and always a pleasure. I want to thank everybody for sitting in the booth and helping us out this week. I want to thank John for bringing us the commentary, and also Brian Burkhart for working the scores for us. It's been a great time interacting with everyone in the chat this weekend. Our next broadcast coming up at the end of April in St. Louis will be the Storm InsideBowling.com Open. Details to be coming out this week on the website. Stay tuned to the Inside Bowling Facebook page. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter, a subscribe on YouTube, and like us on Facebook. For everybody here at this bowling center, we're going to wrap things up. We'll see you on our next broadcast in St. Louis. Have a safe and beautiful day, everyone. Good night.